will be decided tonight right here in Memphis at FedEx Forum as the Grizzlies host the Dallas Mavericks. Welcome to NBA Courtside, presented by Pronamel. Memphis star Ja Morant fighting through an ankle injury suffered Tuesday night, but he will start for the Grizz. A successful Dallas postseason debut for Anthony Davis and a win Wednesday in Sacramento. Can he lift the Mavs into the playoffs tonight? Win and you're in as the 8th seed in the West. The reward? A trip to Oklahoma City on Sunday to face the best team in the NBA this season. Only 2 teams have made it out of the play-in to win a playoff series. And hi, everybody. Alongside Tim Leckler, George Sedano, I'm Dave Pash. Well, embattled Mavs general manager Nico Harrison maintains the reason for the Doncic-Anthony Davis trade is that defense wins championships, in case you hadn't heard that before. Now, that remains to be seen, but defense legs certainly won the play-in game on Wednesday, and that will be the Mavs' calling card going forward.
Well, it's a new look for Dallas. It's clearly a new point of emphasis. Their identity now is going to be built on playing 2 bigs and protecting the paint. And if you wanted to see that on full display, look no further than Wednesday night and what they did to the Sacramento Kings. Everywhere Sacramento looked, you saw shot blockers deterring, shot blockers sending shots away, completely bottled up Domantas Sabonis, and made the Sacramento Kings offense completely bogged down. And the numbers back it up. And you might not see gaudy scoring and rebounding numbers for Gafford and Lively, but that last line is important. 7 for 21 defending the primary scorer in their area.
And it's not just those guys, they're very good on the perimeter as well. So how does Ja Morant fare against that defense? Well, a lot, of course, depends on his health. Let's get the latest on that from George.
Thanks, Dave. It's been a tumultuous couple of days here for the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant and that ankle injury. He suffered it on Tuesday in that play-in game against the Warriors. You see there, he did finish the game. Now, since then, he had an MRI. Arsham Charania reported he got an injection on that ankle yesterday. He's still dealing with significant swelling. Grizzlies interim head coach Tuomas Isolo told us Ja's been through intense treatment, and they've done everything they can for him round the clock. So if this were a regular season game, guys, he'd sit out. But because it's do or die, he's done everything he can, and he will go tonight, Dave.
If he's not 100%, Tim, who has to step up for Memphis?
Well, Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. have to play similar to what they did on Tuesday night, combining for 48 points. And Jaren Jackson Jr. in particular, the responsibility he's going to have defensively going up against Anthony Davis a good part of the night. The 3-point shooting of both of those guys will be critical tonight.
An elimination game in Memphis. Loser season is over. The winner gets new life. More courtside coming up.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by Pronamel Clinical Enamel Strength. 3 times stronger enamel with back to NBA Courtside, presented by Pronamel.
Hey, welcome inside our Los Angeles studio as we get you set here for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Dallas Mavericks. The final play-in spot, the playoff spot in the Western Conference is on the line. Shams, there is no bigger story in this game than the health of Ja Morant. We just heard George Sedano say that he has been getting round-the-clock treatment. What does that look like today?
Malika, he actually had another injection for that ankle sprain just 2 hours ago. Sources told me it's a severe ankle sprain. If this were the regular season, Ja Morant would not be playing, but it's a do-or-die elimination game for the Grizzlies for their season tonight.
You imagine it's going to take a Herculean effort then for them to be able to get past this Dallas team.
Yeah, well, you know who else needs a shot? Jaren Jackson Jr., B12 shot, because he's going to have to bring that energy tonight on both ends of the floor, showing why he was the former Defensive Player of the Year while guarding Anthony Davis, and also showing why he made the All-Star team this year and produced offensively. He's going to have to be the force. He's the most important player on the Memphis Grizzlies team, especially if they're trying to get a win tonight against that front line of the Dallas Mavericks.
The Grizzlies, they lead the NBA in drives. They're second in paint points, and yet they're going against this supersized Dallas Mavericks team. What are they going to need to adjust?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to have to try to get out in transition. I think, again, try to put those guys in a pick and roll, move them away from the basket. But, hey, let's see.
Well, this read moment for Ja Morant
This is it.
tonight.
The final play-in game tips off right now. Let's get you back to Memphis.
Memphis Grizzlies look for a reversal of fortunes at home. FedEx Forum, normally one of the toughest places to play in the NBA, but Memphis has lost 4 of 5 here. the lone win against Dallas in the regular season finale. The Mavs coming off a road win Wednesday in Sacramento. Oklahoma City awaits the winner Sunday. Winner advances, loser season ends tonight. The battle for the 8th seed in the West is next.
The SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament is presented by SoFi, the official bank of the NBA, and in part by Disney Cruise Line, where magic meets the sea.
This is what the NBA had in mind with the advent of the play-in tournament.
The drama continues. It is a battle royale. SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament.
It's win or go home. The play-in tournament. All this drama, more at stake for more teams. With the playoffs on the line.
Buckle up, baby. SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament. Turns up the bass. Get out of the way.
The SoFi NBA Play-In.
One game, there is pressure.
Hey now, say now. Hey now, say now.
Every playing game is a must-win. You gotta start battling. A sense of urgency. Season be over if you don't.
Hey now, say now.
Klay Thompson catching fire. Everything going the Mavericks' way.
Way too important.
Back against the wall mentality.
We coming, okay? We coming.
We're so desperate to keep the postseason alive.
We're gonna need everything from everybody.
We're gonna go to Memphis and lay it all out there.
Welcome to the SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament. The Dallas Mavericks and Memphis Grizzlies for the 8th seed. And a right to face Oklahoma City in the playoffs on Sunday. 1-10 seed is already advanced. Miami becoming the first ever to make it out of the play-in as a 10 to the playoffs. Can Dallas do what the Heat did, win 2 road games? They knocked off the Kings Wednesday in Sacramento and look to take down the Grizz tonight in Memphis. Our starting lineup brought to you by New Balance. Anthony Davis playing just his 11th game as a Dallas Maverick. Spent most of the year after the trade out with injury. Klay Thompson, brilliant. He was the spark Wednesday in the play-in win. Lively, Marshall, and Washington, the other starters for the Mavs. Ja Morant will start. We were told before the game that if he does start, there will be no limits restriction in terms of minutes. Pippen, Bane, Jackson, Edey, the rookie out of Purdue, the other starters. David Guthrie, Courtney Kirkland, Sean Wright are officials for tonight's play-in game with a spot in the playoffs at stake. Ja Morant missed 32 games due to injury. He has battled all kinds of ailments and illnesses this year. Suffered that right ankle injury late, but came back. Team was not able to overcome the Warriors, though, and so they play home tonight to Dallas. The Mavs trying to avoid making a finals run one year and missing the playoffs the next. That's only happened 10 times in NBA history. David Guthrie, our crew chief, will jump it up. Dallas will start with it. Mavericks finished 4 games under 500. They went 13-20 after the Luka Doncic trade. And Washington's pass picked off by Ja Morant to start the game. Jaren Jackson, wide open look from the corner. Great start for the Grizz with Jackson hitting a 3.
Memphis needs to play fast. The turnovers lead to that, and the three-point shooting tonight is going to be critical for Jaren Jackson Jr.
He made a career-best 146 threes during the regular season. He had 4 triples in the loss Tuesday at Golden State. Top of the key jump shot not there for Davis. Long rebound into the hands of Pippen. Scottie Pippen Jr., 3rd year in the NBA. Jackson driving, and Edey on the catch underneath, and scores. 5-0 start for Memphis.
Well, his front line looks a lot different than what Dallas faced the other night, with the size in there of Edey, Jaren Jackson Jr., two traditional bigs.
A running three by Thompson off target, and Morant with the rebound. Pull up three for Ja, and an air ball. Not his strength, 31% on the year, just 88 made threes. Jason Kidd, year 4 as the Mavericks head coach, 8 years as a player, won a title as a player with Dallas, and coached his team to the finals a year ago. Morant, good defense that time. Washington slipped, a turnover, 3-on-2. Morant behind the back fake, gives it up to Pippen, and the runner's good. 7-0 Memphis.
And two defensive plays already by Ja Morant, reading a passing lane, and that time pressuring the basketball against the Mavericks team that is not starting a traditional point guard. You've got some forwards out here doing most of the ball handling.
5 of the 7 points by Memphis off of Dallas turnovers. The Mavs turn it over again, and then Klay Thompson commits the foul.
Ja Morant understands who's on the floor for Dallas, and P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall, those guys are going to initiate the offense a lot. Ja Morant, great job using his quickness, getting in with the deflection, and then again, Memphis playing fast. Number 1 in the league in pace.
And number 2 in the league in scoring during the regular season, 122 points per game. Cleveland, the only team that scored more per game. Bane working on Lively, lost his footing and turned it over. Washington ahead to Marshall, and Thompson on the spot up, takes his time, and gets Dallas on the board.
He's picking up where he left off the other night when he busted that game wide open in the second quarter.
Morant racing up court, missed the shot, but it'll go to the line. Trying to put pressure on that Dallas defense, not let them get set. P.J. Washington commits the foul. Second team foul on the Mavs.
Ja Morant putting his head down and initiating the contact. Last thing I'm sure they want to see is him go into the crowd right now when he's dealing with a tender ankle.
Tim, I'm sure in your playing days you sprained an ankle as badly as Ja Morant did the other night, and probably had similar treatment to what Morant did. What's it like for him tonight playing with that?
Yeah, countless times, and we all deal with it as players. He's going to be sore. There's no doubt he's going to probably have some restriction in his range of motion. But early on right now, he looks like he is moving very well. 2
points and an assist for Morant. Got both free throws. 9-3 Memphis. Here's Davis for 3. No good. He did make 3 triples the other night. Washington bats it underneath. Davis stepped out of bounds trying to save it. Davis healthy again. He's played in 9 of the last 12 Dallas games after missing 18 straight with an adductor injury suffered in his Dallas debut post-trade on February 8th. Now on the switch, you got Morant against Lively. Shot clock at 7. Morant with a hesitation and missed the shot. Rebounded by Lively. Morant 0 for 2 from the floor. Lively in the paint. Davis offensive rebound and the Memphis foul. First foul on the Grizzlies. Davis will shoot 2.
I wasn't sure if Lively looked like at the last second he may have been trying to dump that down to Anthony Davis. It ends up hitting the rim and falls right into AD's lap and earns a trip to the line, which he had a hard time the other night. The beginning of the game, a lot of contact on AD to start that game. He was not getting the whistle. He's going to get 2 free ones here early.
Davis had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 3 blocks in the play-in victory.
Yeah, Lively catches this, and he starts to jump hook, but I could see his eyes go down and saw Anthony Davis under the rim, and so maybe it was a shot, but he was affected by the fact that I think he wanted to try to get that little high-low interior passing action.
First points for Davis on the first free throws for the Mavericks. 3 minutes gone by in this elimination game. Winner moves on to play the Thunder Sunday on ABC at 1 Eastern time. Part of a doubleheader on ABC. 4 games tomorrow, ESPN and ABC, as the playoffs tip off. Corner 3, around it, down Rebound for Jaren Jackson. Same spot that he made one just a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, spacing is critical because Dallas is going to protect the paint. AD, his instincts are to protect the lane. So Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have time and space on the perimeter. You see AD, his instincts are to go block that shot, gives up an open three.
Bain, not a smart play there. Got caught in the air, turned it over. Thompson walks into a three. That's good. So Klay Thompson with 2 threes. Remember last year in the play-in, he went 0 for 10, 0 for 6 from 3 in his final game as a Warrior. But he was great the other night. 16 second quarter points and a hot start here.
Yeah, 8 for 11 the other night and gets his first 2 to go in this one.
Special play that time by John Morant. When he's at his best, he gets downhill in a hurry, and he draws the foul from Lively.
It doesn't take much space for John Morant. You can see Lively is going to switch quite a bit on John Morant tonight. They believe they can force him into some mid-range and deep jump shots. But Lively was back so far that John Morant took advantage of his body positioning to get that all the way to the rim.
Morant 5 points, 3 of 3 from the line. Already 15 Memphis points in less than 4 minutes. Thompson is the only Maverick to make a field goal. He's got 2 of them. Davis working on Edey. Shot clock at 5. Najee Marshall with 2, trying to create some airspace, and he knocks down the long 2.
Tough shot. His role has changed with the acquisition of Anthony Davis and with Klay Thompson still here, but he can score when needed to. Got his own that time.
Morant looking to shake the defender. Here's Pippen. His 3 is there. Scottie Pippen Jr., such an improved player, and in the last 2 months, he's shooting better than 50% from 3. Memphis 3 of 4 from 3 to start the game. Now Morant trying to guard Marshall. Out to Washington. He'll try it. Miss the 3. Rebound Morant. Morant racing up the court again. Quickly into the paint. And another Dallas foul.
You mentioned the percentages for Scottie Pippen Jr. This was absolutely a weakness in his game first couple months of the season, but he has improved dramatically to where now he can walk into open threes and be an effective shooter from out there.
Meanwhile, the crowd in an uproar because Ja was jawing with Anthony Davis at the free throw line for an extended period of time there. They were walking back to the line and still chatting seconds after that as Washington picks up his second foul for Dallas.
Game like this is exactly what you want to see, and you want to see it early. Both teams going to put it all on the line tonight. I think that's a situation where John Morant's telling AD, I'm going to be here all night. I'm coming at you all night, and AD saying, all right, well, let's see what you got next time.
Dante Exum checks in for Dallas. So a smaller lineup on the floor with Davis at the 5. Aldama checks in along with Conchar. Memphis basically went 7 deep the other night. And Aldama now forced to guard Davis, who drives right at him and turns it over. The 5th giveaway by the Mavs. Conchar in the corner. Aldama, good look. Not there, missed the 3. Edey with the rebound. And he was fouled on the first putback try. No basket. Marshall took a shot to the face, but got called for the personal foul. But what a start for Memphis. 20 points in just over 5 minutes.
I'll guard you though. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Right here. Come on. You know I don't go nowhere. Come on. You know I don't go nowhere. You know that. You know that.
Gotta love the competitive fire of the Stars. Anthony Davis has upped his trash talking. He was going at it with Kings fans the other night in Sacramento, and he and Josh squaring off here today.
Yeah, typically he's a little bit more stoic when it comes to that. He's been much more demonstrative here lately, and I love that, issuing the challenge. And who knows, Anthony Davis may have to do more initial ball screen action defense against Ja so that the switch defender ends up being him instead of Lively, as often as it's been here early.
Davis with 2 points, no field goals yet. Edey at the line, got the first free throw to fall. Led NBA rookies in rebounding, has a chance to be first team All-NBA. Offensive rebound for Memphis off the miss from Edey. Morant spinning on Thompson, well defended. And Exum has it now for the Mavs.
So the other night, about 7 minutes with Anthony Davis at the 5 spot. So this is one of those stretches where you don't have either Lively or Gafford on the floor. Anthony Davis now will go more into the post with this lineup.
Both of his shot attempts have been from the perimeter. Dallas has more turnovers than field goals through the first half of the quarter. Shot clock at 3. Washington playing with 2 fouls. Thompson open. That time it's not there, and rebounded by Edey, and Bane looking to run. No shot attempts yet for Desmond Bane. Ja Morant, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Got Davis off his feet. Tipped in by Edey off the Morant miss.
Well, that's a problem they're going to have with this lineup. If AD does switch onto a ball handler and you've got Zach Edey on the backside for offensive rebounding position, that's a major problem with the smaller Mavs lineup.
8-0 paint points in favor of Memphis until right there. Anthony Davis with his first field goal. But Dallas down 11 early on. Bane driving, and Washington has to be careful with those 2 fouls, so Bane gets past him and lays it in. Dante Exum, who was hurt for most of the year, but a player that Jason Kidd believes in, and he was very good Wednesday. Anthony Davis swishes that one through from 20 feet. Back-to-back buckets for him.
He can get that shot anytime he wants against Zach Edey. That's just a simple jab step and a nice, easy release.
Clear path to the basket for Aldama. Anthony Davis is hobbling just a tad. Yep, grabbing his left leg, wincing a little bit in pain. Aldama pushes the lead back to 13. Exum had 6 assists, 11 points Wednesday. Davis feeling it. That one in and out. Hit the deck. No foul called. Aldama driving. Missed the shot. Oh, Ja Morant just broke the rim with that finish.
Well, Ja Morant gets a running start at the 3-point line and puts his head on the rim.
$1 million with a perfect bracket. Make your playoff picks with NBA Pick'em Bracket Challenge presented by Castrol for your chance to win big. Play free at nba.com/bracket or on the NBA app. Ja Morant with an amazing play as Jackson gets the block. Morant with his 9th point. Morant now gives it back to Dallas. Substitutions for both teams. Marvin Bagley checking in for Memphis. He was a late season acquisition from Washington. Also Caleb Martin on the floor for Dallas, along with Max Christie, was part of the Doncic trade. Jackson commits the foul for Memphis, his first. And .2 on the shot clock. Let's see if they change that. Right now Memphis dominating inside. +8 on the glass, +12 points in the paint, including that ferocious slam by Morant.
And I think Ja Morant answered the question about how his ankle's feeling with that one. When you're looking down inside the rim, I think there's a pretty good chance that his ankle feels great. But right now, this lineup for Dallas, you wonder where the offense is going to come from outside of Anthony Davis.
Here's Martin, who's got a lot of playoff experience, was brilliant for the Heat 2 years ago in their run to the finals. Exum throws it into the 5th row. That is turnover number 6 by the Mavs. Here's George.
Dave, legs regarding Morant. Arsham Sharani, our NBA senior insider, reported after our report on Courtside about Ja Morant getting a 2nd injection today. As you see the alley-oop there to Bagley, he got a second injection today, 2 hours before this game. So they've done everything they can to make sure he can play at an optimal level, Dave.
And he is right now. In 8 minutes, he is controlling this game. 9 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. His team up 17. Davis inside. And the follow by Gafford. They're going to wave it off, though. Basket interference. Mavs can't get out of their own way right now.
Yeah, their main challenges have been really lack of quality shots offensively, and then Memphis playing to their strengths, playing fast and playing in the lane. 2nd in the league in points in the paint, and that's where everything is coming from right now.
Aldama driving baseline. It's cut off by the double. Out to Morant. Step back 3. Morant hits it. Everything going right for Ja so far in the first quarter, and the lead is 20. What a flurry by the Grizzlies, 60% shooting. It's a 19-4 run. Davis on the move, and it rolls around and drops. He's got 8.
They've got to just stem the tide right here and do a better job at protecting the lane so they can get out in the open floor a little bit. It was a priority for Jason Kidd. He felt like they could run against Memphis, but they're taking the ball out of the net virtually every trip. You know, Ja Morant is, when he gets buckets early in the lane, he becomes a much more confident rhythm three-point shooter. And you could see the way he went up for that step back. He is absolutely feeling it right now.
Let's see how Memphis does with Morant on the bench. Brought a ton of energy to this game so far. 18-point lead. Going to call an offensive foul here on the screen on Bagley. Keep in mind as you look at this score, we have seen this throughout the NBA season and earlier tonight that no lead truly is safe. Miami blew a 17-point lead in regulation, but then won in overtime by 9. So 18-point deficit, long way to go though.
And I like this substitution by Jason Kidd, getting Brandon Williams in the game. Played so well the other night in Sacramento. He is a flat-out scorer. Misses his first attempt there on a wild drive to the rim, but they needed some offense on the floor.
Aldama hits a 3. It's a 21-point lead. 5 3-pointers for Memphis. Dallas has just 6 baskets. And then a foul on Pippen. Team foul number 2. First personal on Pippen. The sense of urgency in the fight that we saw from Dallas in the first and second quarters on Wednesday, it's not there, at least not yet. Davis can't hit the 3. Rebound Aldama. Davis 3 of 7, 0 for 2 from deep, 8 points to lead the Mavs in scoring, but they're shooting under 40% so far. Bain missed it off the window. Edey keeps it alive and then controlled by AD. Skip to Williams. Underneath Gafford, got inside, puts it in, and a foul.
It's a great skip pass, and then patience by Williams in the corner. Catches the 3. Beautiful up fake to get Aldama to commit, and then just goes right at Edey, knowing that Gafford was going to fill that void on the backside of that. Dallas finally with a nice offensive possession, great execution, and it rewarded potentially here with 3 points if he can convert the free throw.
Jaren Jackson commits the foul, his first in the last 2 minutes on Memphis. And Gafford, 70% free throw shooter during the season, completes the 3-point play. Winner advances to the playoffs to face Oklahoma City. Loser season is over. Nearing 1 minute to go here in the first quarter. Aldama catch and shoot 3, not there. Long rebound Williams. Williams had 17 points on Wednesday. Hit 3 threes.
You see the impact right there of Zach Edey twice. Mavericks had the ball in the paint and decided to pull it out because of his presence.
Shot clock at 4. Martin driving on Edey. Can't make it with the left hand. Tracked down by Washington and saved. Washington yet to score. Here's Christie from deep. And Max Christie able to bury a much-needed 3. So a nice little spurt here by the Mavericks to get back within striking distance. Pass inside. Edey was grabbed. Dallas over the limit, so free throws for Edey.
Well, this is tough to switch these ball screens with Edey against the smaller guards for Dallas. Edey's just going to roll down the lane, and you don't really have a choice but to grab him to prevent that lob.
Martin's first. Edey 1 of 2 so far at the line. 5 points, 5 rebounds. 2-time National Player of the Year at Purdue. Top 10 pick by Memphis. Had an excellent rookie season. NBA playoffs presented by Google begin tomorrow quadruple header starting with the Bucks and Pacers, followed by the Clippers against Denver, Knicks, Pistons, and then Luka Doncic makes his Laker playoff debut facing the team that he tortured in the conference finals last year when he was a Maverick, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thoughts on that series, Legs? Lakers, Wolves.
Fascinating to watch, and we had it's like a double lane violation here. Both guys went in early, so you're going to jump this up at midcourt. Opportunity here for Dallas to walk away from that situation with 0 points for Edey and potentially here get the last shot of the quarter, but they don't win the tip.
3-second difference in the game and shot clocks. Here's Bane taking just one shot. Timer now at 6, backing up with Christie on it. Bane gets into the paint and puts it in over the outstretched arm of Davis. That ends a 6-0 Dallas run. 4.5 seconds remaining here in the quarter. Williams into the front court, weaving through traffic, gets downhill and scores as the buzzer sounds. What a play by Brandon Williams. Looked a little like Ja Morant on that drive and finish.
He covered about 80 feet there in 4 seconds and weaving through defenders. Brandon Williams trying to give Dallas a spark heading into the second quarter.
It's time for tonight's Access, brought to you by JCPenney. We're here with Najee Marshall of the Mavericks. They blitzed you guys early. What can you do to get back in this one?
Just continue to get stops, limit them to one shot, and push in transition.
Specifically Morant, though, with 12 points. How do you try to corral him defensively?
Just play team defense. You know, he's an all-star, so like I said, just get stops, limit them to one shot.
Najee, good luck. Thank you. All right, guys, back to you.
And George, going back to your first question, it was interesting. They went on an 8-2 run, and that was with Brandon Williams on the floor. Things changed offensively when he checked into the game. Missed the 3 there, though. And out of bounds. Going to stay with Dallas.
Well, you think about it, without Kyrie Irving and Spencer Dinwiddie right now not really playing, he's the most natural ball handler that they have against a very quick team. And he plays with such confidence. We saw it on Wednesday night with 17 points. And since he's been injected, it does seem like the offense is flowing a little bit easier. And their defense has picked up, getting some stops here at the end of the first quarter.
Another Dallas turnover, that's 8. And obviously, you saw those numbers and how things changed for him. That's because Irving went down with that torn ACL March 3rd. That opened up playing time for Williams, but he certainly made the most of it. And Jason Kidd told us before the game he has the utmost confidence in him. We saw his poise and confidence on full display on Wednesday night. But the Mavericks trail by 15 in this elimination game. Winner advances to play Oklahoma City in the playoffs on Sunday. Jaren Jackson, 6 first quarter points. Bane had 4. Now he's got 7. Desmond Bane with his second 3-pointer.
And it's tough because you got to stay more disciplined if you're Brandon Williams. Cannot go for that up fake and give him a clean look.
Now Williams a little out of control there on the drive. Missed the shot. Numbers for Memphis. Bane goes behind the back and is fouled. And that's on P.J. Washington. That is 3 fouls already on him.
And here's what I'm talking about. You want to get there in time against a great shooter, but when you come out wildly on a closeout, you're going to end up giving Desmond Bane a chance to reload. And when he gets an absolute clean look like that, more often than not, that's going to result in 3 points.
He had 30 against the Warriors in the loss on Tuesday as Davis checks back in. 5 3-pointers for Bane in that game. And you saw Washington going to the bench as well with those 3 fouls. Jackson penetrates past AD, lays it home off glass. Pretty move by Jaren Jackson. 8 points here in the first half.
That's the versatility of Jaren Jackson Jr. 2 of the more multifaceted bigs right now going head-to-head with Anthony Davis and Triple J.
Davis 8 points in that first quarter. Back rim that one. Lively fighting for it, but controlled by Memphis. Ja Morant has been on the bench since about the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. So with the break for commercial, getting a good rest here. Jackson thought he was fouled. Loose ball ends up in the hands of Marshall.
I think he also thought that Lively goaltended that. I think he did get a piece of that on the way up
Corner three, no good for Williams. And one and done for the Mavericks. Mavs 0 for 5 from the floor here in the second quarter. Memphis still shooting 55% for the game from the floor. Jackson's got the smaller Thompson on him. They come to double. He gives it up. Bane for three. Hit it. Desmond Bane with back-to-back threes for the Grizzlies. The lead is 23 and a timeout by Dallas.
What we came for. They've been dreaming of this moment since they were little. This is all we want, all we dream of and pray for. This is what we live for. I am on the edge of my seat.
Well, the second highest scoring team in the league is doing whatever they want right now to the Dallas Mavericks. You can see Jaren Jackson Jr. playing out of the post. First one, a bad closeout. That time, Anthony Davis just too far away from Desmond Bane. And right now, Memphis getting the best of both worlds. 20 points in the paint and 21 points from behind the three-point line.
7 of 11 from three. 5 different Memphis players have hit three-pointers. Grizzlies started the game on a 7-0 run. They start the second quarter on an 8-0 spurt. And they lead by 23 in an elimination game. Final play-in game. Playoffs start tomorrow on ESPN and ABC with 4 games. Turnaround three, around and out for Thompson and boarded by Bane. Oklahoma City awaits the winner Sunday on ABC in Game 1. Thunder had the best record in the NBA this season, 7th best in NBA history. Pippen on the foul line. His jumper is good, and it's a 25-point lead. This lead is swelled with Ja Morant on the bench.
Everything they're doing is in rhythm right now. The ball's moving to where it's supposed to. Everyone on the floor that's played for Memphis has been aggressive, getting into their spots.
Davis inside, rims out, rebound Conchar. Pippen turning the corner underneath the basket. Out to Jackson. Jackson for three. Not that time. Boarded by Davis, his 3rd rebound. But if you're Tuomas Isola, the head coach for Memphis, who replaced Taylor Jenkins, who got fired at the end of March with Davis scoring there, you've got to love the fact that your team has extended the lead, because at this point you don't have to push Ja Morant. Even though he looks great, you know, as we mentioned, he's been shot up twice, and you want to make sure he's good to go on Sunday.
No doubt. This is a bonus for them to be playing this well offensively after he gave them that initial surge.
Just allowing him to rest as that pinballs out to Christie. Christie made a 3 in the first quarter, sets his feet. Off target there. Rebound Lively. Rare second chance opportunity. Christie again. That one's good. Swishing it through to make it a 20-point game with Mavs GM Nico Harrison looking on.
Credit that to Derek Lively, giving them a second chance opportunity. And you see Dallas going to a zone right here, a matchup that you can't let a simple pass come to the middle of the floor that easily. Jaren Jackson Jr. flashes to the one spot against the zone that the ball has to go, and he met no resistance.
Jackson, an all-star this year for the 2nd time. Davis attacking, going right at the former Defensive Player of the Year.
I like his last 2 field goal attempts. One was a post-up, and that time putting his head down, getting to the rim. A little bit more balance in his game, not spending so much time on the perimeter.
He's got 12 points, 5 of 11 from the floor. Jump stop by Bane out to Jackson. Shot clock at 7. Lob to Edey for the flush. Nice look by Jackson. Thompson tries it. Front rimmed it. Rebound Edey. Morant will check in at the next dead ball for Memphis. Deflected right to Pippen. Puts it on the deck. And they're going to call a foul on the floor. 2nd team foul on Dallas. It's on Lively, his 2nd personal. Take a look at the upcoming NBA playoff schedule, brought to you by Vicks NyQuil. NBA playoffs presented by Google. First round action. Miami winning tonight. The first 10 seed to make it out of the play-in tournament into the playoffs will face Cleveland Sunday on TNT. Golden State, Houston, TNT Monday. Pistons, Knicks, Game 2. Clippers, Denver, Game 2. Ja Morant back on the floor, 12 points in 10 first quarter minutes. Bane gets the bounce, and Desmond Bane with 12.
Everything going their way. That was really defended well by Christie. Cut off the initial penetration, timed the contest perfectly. But Desmond Bane is already in a rhythm, so he gets the roll.
Lead back to 24 for Memphis midway through the second quarter. The second quarter on Wednesday was owned by Dallas. The Mavs put up 44. They outscored Sacramento by 25. They're going to need that type of quarter here, and Davis is doing his best to make it happen.
Well, he's changed his approach. He is going into the paint. That was an incredibly difficult shot over Edey.
Anchar missed the three. Washington back on the floor. 3 fouls, but they need Washington's offense and rebounding. A gamble by Jason Kidd, but understandably so at this kind of deficit. Davis looking to take. Pulls up, scores again against Edey.
Yeah, he is cooking right now, and he's getting into his spots a little bit more easily these last 4 shots that he has made.
He's got 8 in the quarter. Morant penetrates, stops, pops, and that one's good. Ja Morant with 14.
It's still just far too much penetration on the part of Memphis. Dallas really doing a poor job on the perimeter, containing the point of attack, and their defense is collapsing every trip as a result.
This after us talking so glowingly about their defense before the game as Davis connects on a 3. 19 for AD.
Jason Kidd glad to see their scoring now. Offense looks a lot better, but this end has been nothing short of a nightmare for Dallas.
Not much of a contest there by Dinwiddie. Ja Morant having the time of his life right now. He's got 16 points and his team up 21. With a spot in the playoffs, the 8th seed on the line. Marshall drives and lays it home.
Took advantage of the fact that Edey was reluctant to leave AD the way he's shooting the ball right now. So Marshall saw that and turned the corner.
Bane fouled on the triple try. 3 free throws for Desmond Bane as Christie commits the foul.
Yeah, AD right here putting his head down. Really tough hook shot running through the lane. And then looks like he's going to get to the first mid-range, get Zach Edey to back up with one more dribble. Steps into it, and then finally, once he hits a couple shots, he becomes a much more consistent three-point shooter.
But on the other hand, what has to change for Dallas defensively? It was so hard for Sacramento to get anything, especially in the paint on Wednesday, but Memphis getting in there at will tonight.
It's all about your perimeter defense being broken down. When that happens, you now force reactions and you force teams to get into rotation, and Dallas has really struggled keeping the ball out of the lane, and as a result, everything is collapsing on the backside as well. So it starts on the perimeter. That ball has to be contained, force Memphis into more contested three-point shots.
Memphis 7 of 13 from 3 and 59% overall from the floor. Great first half for Desmond Bane, year 5 out of TCU. In 23 career playoff games, he's averaged 17 points per game. So he loves these moments. He's got 11 here in the quarter. That hit the foot of Morant, but it wasn't a kick. Morant is loose, got caught in the air, behind the head pass, and now a 360 dunk by Aldama. Dinwiddie's 3 off the heel. Morant bats it to Aldama. Bane pulls up for 3. Front rim, no. Rebound, Christie. Lead is 24. 3:40 to go.
Turnovers, major problem for Dallas as well. 9 of those, leading to 16 points against a team that wants to play as fast as Memphis. That's a problem.
Davis fouled on the drive. Only 3 free throw attempts, though, for the Mavs in the game.
Yeah, Ja, now this is the 3rd time we've seen it in this game. Just using his quickness to get into driving lanes, and all that activity leads to a turnover. Get out in the open floor, and not just scoring, but putting on a show in the process.
Legs, we talked with Jaren Jackson before the game and asked him about John Morant. He said, I basically forgot that Morant has an injured ankle. He's going to play. He broke the news before anybody else, saying he's going. We talked about an hour before the game. He had no doubt that not only would Morant play, but be effective.
Yeah, he gave us an idea right there. And you see John Morant at the beginning of the game, I think everybody wanted to see how aggressive he would be at the start. I think the fact that he finished the game the other night against Golden State, for me, was a good indicator that he would play. But you don't know to what extent he might be limited. Well, he certainly doesn't look limited at all.
On the switch, Morant fires a three. That one way off the mark. Still 5 of 10 from the floor, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Dallas looking to make a run that somehow got inside to Washington, but swatted away by Bagley. Even when Dallas gets a break, Memphis makes a play as Morant hangs but missed the layup. Bagley fumbles it out of play, trying to secure it.
Yeah, I think John Morant had some bad intentions on that, but he took off a little too soon and got his body twisted, so he wasn't able to get this all the way to the rim. He was sort of in between trying to dunk it and lay it in. He thought he could get there. Thought maybe he got clipped on the leg. He was complaining to the official, but Dallas gets a much-needed stop.
His call for a foul here. When John Morant has been at his best over the course of his career, it is when he is fearless with driving to the basket, and that's been the case in this game.
Reckless abandon. That's when John Morant is at his best. You've seen it here tonight, and as a result, Memphis with a big lead.
Presented by Google continues Sunday on ABC. A doubleheader. Winner of this game faces Oklahoma City, followed by Orlando at Boston. NBA Countdown starts us off at 12:30 Eastern Time. Here tonight in Memphis, Desmond Bane is mic'd up. This place has been electric. The moment that John Morant came out to warm up, all the fans were hovering around watching him, and just knowing he was going to play, you could see the confidence level in his teammates in this building.
And he really delivers with one of those at least spectacular moments a game that just energizes this building and his team.
Gets the rebound there, fires it ahead to Aldama for the slam. Morant on pace for a triple-double, 16 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And the Grizzlies match their largest lead of the game at 25. Now he got a foul. Called on Memphis on Pippen.
This is just tremendous by John Morant. Barely gets his hand on the ball. I mean, that is an absolute strike up the floor. Dinwiddie late to get there, and Aldama, second time he's gotten out with John Morant transition and had an easy finish.
No turnovers either for Morant in the game. Dallas, that's been the Mavs' problem. 9 turnovers for them, leading to 16 Memphis points. Anthony Davis has scored half of Dallas's total so far. Backing down Bagley. Corner 3, Williams. No good. Loose ball foul called on Bagley. His second foul. Team foul number 4, so side out of bounds. You think of all that Memphis has been through this year. A ton of injuries to star player John Morant. Then they lose Jalen Wells to a season-ending broken wrist at the end of the regular year. He was their best defender. But the biggest news has been the change in the head coach with Taylor Jenkins, who had been a Coach of the Year candidate year after year, let go at the end of the regular year with 9 games left. They were 15 games over 500. Tuomas Isalo, first year as an assistant coach, takes over on an interim basis. 4-5 record. Really struggled down the stretch. Lost on Tuesday. But what a performance here in the first half.
Well, much different seasons for these two teams. You think about it, Memphis spent most of the year in the top 4 in the Western Conference. Had a late season slide that put him in this position, but there is a lot of talent on this team.
At the All-Star break, they were the 2 seed. And even though they are the 8 seed, there's only a difference of 4 games between 2nd and 8 in the West. Exum's 3 is good. There's Zach Kleiman, the Memphis general manager, who made the move to relieve Taylor Jenkins of his duties on March 28th.
Well, if Dallas wants to have any shot in cutting into this lead, a couple things. Defensively, got to be better on the perimeter defending the ball. And they've got to knock down more of these open looks from the three. Just 6 of 20, and most of them have been clean.
Davis at the foul line, puts it on the deck. Sweet move by AD to get it down to 18 with a minute remaining here in the first half. Morant racing into the paint. Got defenders off their feet, missed the shot inside. Offensive rebound, Pippen. Davis just kind of stood there. Shot clock at 8. Pippen weaving through traffic, penetrates, can't kiss it home. Rebound Gafford. Dallas might look for a 2-for-1 here. Klay Thompson hit a couple threes early. In and out there. Aldama with the board.
And Dallas needed that. Klay with a pretty good look there from deep. Spins out on him. It allows Memphis to eat up most of the remaining clock in this half.
Yep, 4-second difference between game and shot clocks. Morant wants to take Brandon Williams. Drives right past him, coming over to help is Gafford. Kick out Aldama, and he saves it. Pippen over the head as the buzzer sounds. Shot clock violation. Let's see if they put a little time back on the clock here. They will. 4.2 seconds remaining. So at worst, it looks like despite this disaster for Dallas defensively, they're only going to be down 18, and it might be better depending on what happens here in the next 4 seconds.
Yeah, they could hit one here to get it to 15 or 16 going into the locker room. I think it'd be a massive sigh of relief considering how this half was played.
A foul called on Ja Morant at midcourt. Not sure why he would do that. That gives Williams free throws. They're over the limit now.
Don't understand at all what Ja Morant's thinking right here. It looked like he was possibly trying to gamble for a steal in the backcourt right there, and once he found himself out of position, he was in no place to stop Williams and ends up bumping him. And gonna say give him 2 points here going into the locker room, but Williams can't convert the first free throw.
Halftime presented by Hyundai coming up. Malika Andrews and Kendrick Perkins standing by. They'll talk about the first half here and also break down the Miami-Chicago play-in game as Anthony Davis is pulled away from crew chief David Guthrie. One more free throw for Williams. 2.4 seconds remaining here in the half. Miami beating Atlanta tonight to move on to the play-in as a 10 seed, the first ever. Dallas trying to become the second, but down big here at halftime. Bane won't even get a shot away, and so the Mavericks close the half on an 8-0 run. Still down 17, but they've cut into that deficit despite a dynamic first half from Ja Morant. 16 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Memphis looking to advance to the playoffs, 1 half away from that happening. Winner advances to face Oklahoma City Sunday in ABC in the first round of the playoffs, and it was all Grizz in that first half, a 17-point lead. First half stats brought to you by PayPal. Memphis was hot from 3 in the first quarter, cooled off a little bit, but still 7 of 16. Plus 10 points in the paint, 16 points off 9 Dallas turnovers, and plus 6 in fast break points. Dave Pasch, Tim Legler, George Sedano. Legs, you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast that Memphis's pace could give Dallas problems, and they got in the paint quickly and often in that first half.
Well, these matchups come down to which team can impose their style of play on the other. Clearly, that was Memphis in this game. They want to play fast. They want to play in the lane. This is a team that thrives on points in the paint. They repeatedly broke down Dallas on the perimeter, and it doesn't necessarily mean it leads to rim points. It leads to kick-out threes like we just saw, and then Ja Morant, Desmond Bane finding their way whenever they got a ball screen. They were winning their one-on-one matchup, getting to the rim, creating all kinds of problems for that Dallas defense.
Let's check in with George.
Guys, I spoke to Mavs assistant and NBA champion Jared Dudley about adjustments. He talked about the transition defense, something you just mentioned there, like a huge portion of their problem defensively was controlling the pace because the Grizzlies dictated all half long. Then he mentioned turnovers on offense were a big problem. Got to clean that up. And they can't run the pick and roll offense through Anthony Davis. He said they got to use the guards and spread them out that way.
And George, they need some help. Anthony Davis had 22 points of the 49 for the Mavs.
Well, look, they don't have that second elite scorer. You've got one primary guy and then some other guys that are third and fourth options. But the other night in Sacramento, P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall, Brandon Williams, those guys showed up for 43 points. They had 7 in the first half. It's got to be everybody chipping in offensively for Dallas.
And Davis looks to be okay as Jackson scores against him. We saw him holding his groin at the end of the first half, and obviously that has been a problem for him, missing a ton of games during the regular season. But out there to start the second half. And Davis gets inside and puts it home.
What a skill set on Anthony Davis, and he's so big on top of it. He absorbed all that contact from Jaren Jackson, got exactly where he wanted to on the rim, and then what a soft touch on this turnaround jumper. And you're talking about a guy that's a former defensive player of the year. Anthony Davis just works him into the paint and gets his first shot to go in the second half.
He has 10 baskets. The rest of the team has 10 baskets. And meanwhile, P.J. Washington just picked up his 4th foul. He has no points. And remember how good he was in the playoff run to the finals last year. Bane got caught in the air and turns it over. Good defensive sequence there by the Mavs. Thompson, corner 3. And Klay Thompson just 2 for 8 from deep.
Had some good looks too, and I think that should be a priority for Memphis to make sure he doesn't get loose on them in the third quarter, because they're a different team when Klay Thompson gets hot.
In and out as Jackson tried to muscle Washington and force him to pick up that 5th foul. Mavs trailed by as many as 25 in that first half. Davis penetrates, floater up and no good. Got it back and scores. 26 now for Anthony Davis.
Nice activity by Derek Lively down there, creating some chaos. Allows Anthony Davis to get a second opportunity.
Turning the corner and Lively over there to swat it away from Pippen. Washington on the drive and knocked out of bounds. Or no, Washington just lost it. Turnover by Washington.
Well, this looks a little bit more like what we saw on Wednesday night, when you saw Dallas repeatedly turn back Sacramento when they were within 5 feet of the basket. Haven't seen as much of that tonight, but it's a good sign for the Mavericks.
Morant no good on the triple try. 3 blocks for Dallas. The Mavs had 8 on Wednesday. Down by 15, 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. It's been a season of comebacks in the NBA, so no lead safe. Marshall driving and puts it home off the window.
And they started that possession with something that Jason Kidd said they were going to try to exploit, which was getting Ja Morant into the post. They did it that time for P.J. Washington. It created some action on the opposite side.
So going back to the end of the quarter, it's a 14-2 run as Morant misses an easy one. Davis wide open. Good on the 3. Anthony Davis with 29 points. Nico Harrison has said time and again, we got Anthony Davis because defense wins championship, but this guy's a pretty darn good offensive player and coming up big when they need him.
ESPN Bet is the official sportsbook of ESPN. Get in on trending parlays, daily profit boost, and exclusive talent markets all season long. New customers.
The SoFi NBA play-in tournament, Anthony Davis bringing his team back.
Well, the 8-0 run to end the half gave them hope, and they come out with an identity here to start the third, playing inside to AD, and then finding your star in the open floor. Mavericks with a great response here coming out of the locker room.
Davis with 29 points, 12 of 19 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3. Meanwhile, Ja Morant is 0 for his last 6. He's now 5 of 15 from the floor. Morant penetrates, got caught in the air. Great pass, though. Hits the cutting Edey for the slam.
Well, that's one of the problems you have sometimes with two shot blockers. When both of them commit to the ball, there's nothing on the backside. That's a great late find by Ja Morant.
6 assists for Morant. Davis on the face-up. Short on that one. And Edey controls the tip. Morant trying to cross over, blows by Marshall, tried to lob it up there for Edey, broken up. Numbers for Dallas if they hurry. Thompson thought about it, now lets it fly. And Klay Thompson swishes home his third three.
Not sure why he reloaded that. I thought he had a clean look on the catch, but he might not have caught that the way he wanted to. Still gets it to go.
Pippen answers for three. Dallas got crossed up on the screen and never got out on Pippen. Thompson wants the basketball with the smaller Pippen on him, giving up about 5 inches to Klay. Fall away, got it from Thompson on the baseline.
Yeah, the key there is keep it simple against Scottie Pippen Jr. because he's got such quick hands. 1 dribble, 2 at most, and Klay knows he's got the size advantage.
Pippen got fouled, and they're going to say on the floor. Thompson trying to hang with him. Second foul on Klay.
Yeah, I thought he had a clean look there, but he decides to reload. That's a very difficult shot to have to do that a second time. And here, like I said, he's just using his size, keeping the ball away from Pippen with that left hand, and then knowing he could just go to the lean back and get that off, and having just hit a 3, feeling good right now.
Mavs as a team feeling much better. 6 of 9 shooting here in the quarter. Memphis has cooled off, was around 60% for most of the first half. Now at 49% shooting for the game. Aldama spot up. Rebound Washington. Has it poked away, but a foul on Conchar. That's his first. And the first team foul on Memphis. Chance for Dallas to get it to 8, maybe 7. They did cut it to 9 a couple possessions ago for the first time since the 7-minute mark of the first quarter.
And we mentioned who was going to help out AD. It's been Klay Thompson here at the start with 5 points. They still are going to need some contribution out of PJ Washington and Najee Marshall.
Davis missed it with the left hand. Conchar clears it. Winner faces Oklahoma City in the playoffs Sunday in game 1. Loser season comes to an end. They double Bane. Has not scored yet in the quarter. Neither has Morant. Gets downhill, missed another layup, but there's Zach Edey with the easy putback.
It just presents such a problem for a big to commit on the penetration. You're going to need the wings on the opposite side to get down there and help on Zach Edey.
11 points, 9 rebounds for Edey. Marshall for 3. It's good. Najee Marshall's first 3-pointer. 9-point game. Bane for 3. Way off. Good contest by Davis. Mavericks ball. Great pass down court. Oh, what a play by Edey. Recovers and swats it away from Davis. Morant in the open floor. Stops in the lane. Underneath pass. Broken up. Turnover Memphis. Thompson. Davis down court with the slam. 31 for Davis, who comes up holding his lower back in a 7-point game.
Doing everything for them right now. Great contest on the 3 on one end. A couple opportunities in the open floor.
27-9 run for the Mavs going back to the end of the first half. Bane going baseline, lost the ball. Another turnover. Dallas looking to run. Davis puts it on the floor, drives. Knocked out of bounds by Aldama. Good hands to get the deflection.
Great job by Zach Edey continuing to run the floor. Anthony Davis loves this play to get out and get the seal for the lob when he's ahead of the pack, but sometimes you benefit when things like that happen because he fell to the ground on the Edey block and just stayed down there to get the second opportunity.
Exum and Christie check in. Davis 4-3. In and out. Conchar gets the rebound. Conchar 4-3. And Conchar drills it. John Conchar, 37% three-point shooter during the regular season. Timeout on the floor, 10-point game. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Golden State won its play-in game, so it is the 7th seed facing Houston. Orlando is the 7th seed in the East, taking on Boston. Miami advances tonight, will be the 8th seed facing Cleveland. Meanwhile, let's get an injury update on Anthony Davis. Here's George.
Guys, you referred to it earlier. Anthony Davis, before the end of the half, looked to grab his left groin as he went to the tunnel. And when he came out of the locker room, I asked him, AD, are you okay? Are you good? He nodded. He said yes. But in the last 2 timeouts, Anthony Davis has had a member of the training staff working on that left leg and what looks to be his left groin, applying pressure with an ice pack wrapped around a towel. And that has been what he's been dealing with the last 2 timeouts to try to tough it out to get through this game, Dave.
And they were working on his low back there too as well, George. We saw him hold that after a dunk a couple of possessions ago. Exum missed the runner in the lane. Morant on the run, fires ahead to Konchar. Morant has not scored here in the quarter, but making things happen with his passing.
That is tough when you miss a 5-footer, and I thought the lob was available to AD, but when you miss a shot that close to the rim, it allows the long rebound and the run out for Memphis.
Marshall, and that one was 90% down and then popped out. Morant behind the back, gets past Christie. Spinning in the lane into traffic, lobs underneath, and putting it in is Bagley. And just like that, Memphis back up 14. Marshall bounce to Davis. That one drops. Davis with 33.
The offense is working right now for Dallas, but these last few trips from Memphis, it's been easy attacking that back line.
Great hustle by Aldama. Here's Jackson. Nails the corner 3. Lead back to 15. Jackson has 15. His third 3. Davis electing to give it up. Exum way off the mark. Where's the offense going to come from Dallas if it's not Anthony Davis? And maybe Jason Kidd thought the same thing. P.J. Washington and Brandon Williams immediately check in.
Yeah, well, P.J. Washington, I know the foul trouble's affected him, but he's got to insert himself into this game. 17 points on Wednesday night and 17 points a game in a 10-game stretch to close out the season. And without Kyrie Irving, guys need to get to their average or get to what they've been doing recently, and P.J. Washington has a goose egg to this point.
Aldama can't bank it home. Batted around. Bagley's got it. And Bagley scores again. Back to 17. Good minutes off the bench for the former number 2 pick in 2018, Marvin Bagley. Christie in the lane. Got it. Morant again gets past Christie, knocked away by Gafford. Bagley drives, challenged by Gafford, can't tip it in. And Gafford took a shot below the belt. He's a little slow to get up the floor, understandably. Williams penetrates. Great move by Brandon Williams, and one. We saw this on Wednesday in the play, and he took over sequences in the first half of the Mavs. And a chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, he gave him a lot of activity in the first half. He just didn't get anything to go and had a couple of wild drives to the rim. But this is what he's capable of doing. He is lightning quick with his change of direction. And he realized that Jaren Jackson was lifted on him, which meant no shot blocking presence behind him. He was able to get that scoop shot to go and the contact.
Spent 2 years at Arizona, missed his entire sophomore season due to injury, was not drafted. One of the leading scorers in the G League. Spent time with the Mavs G League team for a good part of the year. Just 33 regular season games for Dallas. A lot of those after the Irving injury. Knocked away by Williams, and a forced turnover by Dallas. Davis trying to post up. They get it to him. Spins on Aldama to the corner. Christie open. Christie can't bury it. Offensive rebound, Exum. Washington for his first basket. No good.
I get Brandon Williams giving that to P.J. Washington. He's open, but I also think Brandon Williams had a clean look, and he just got one to go. It's an unselfish play, and they're trying to get P.J. Washington going a little bit offensively.
They're +6 with Williams on the floor tonight, but down 12 in the game. Jackson hits another three. 4 of 5 from deep for Jaren Jackson.
That was a tough shot because that's lightning quick release coming up into the shot from the baseline area to the wing.
Davis got knocked off his spot by Bagley. Shot clock at 8. Davis with 33 points, a game high. Christie on the move. Davis in the paint. And a foul call. Let's see if Memphis challenges this. Jaren Jackson Jr. didn't like the call. They get Bagley for the foul, though. 3rd on Bagley.
There's the versatility of Jackson. He's a guy that does such a great job defensively guarding all over the floor, but can hurt you on the other end with his perimeter shooting.
Davis 3 of 4 at the line. The Mavs just 6 of 8 as a team at the stripe tonight. Our NBA playoff schedule brought to you by Infinity. NBA playoffs presented by Google. First round action TNT Sunday night. Miami at Cleveland. Golden State at Houston Monday. Clippers at Denver for game 2. Knicks host Detroit, game 2 of that series. Well, that Clipper Nugget series should be fascinating. Davis missed the second one. Memphis possession up 14, 90 seconds to go. Ja Morant on the bench as he was at the end of the second quarter when Memphis extended its lead. Jackson really coming alive here in the 3rd.
Yeah, he's a right-handed deep shooter, but he loves that shot right there, coming from the right wing into the lane with the little running left-handed hook shot.
He leads Memphis with 20 points. Christie around and out. Boy, we've seen several of those on this end of the floor this quarter. Almost all the way down and then pop back out. Jackson's got the hot hand. 10 points here in the quarter. That got deflected by Dallas. 12 to shoot for Memphis. Inside a minute to go. Klay Thompson about to check back in for the Mavs. 13 points for Thompson, the only other Maverick in double figures besides Davis, who has 34. Memphis, meanwhile, all 5 of its starters in double digits, and Aldama off the bench with 9. Much more balance from the home team so far, and a 16-point lead in this elimination game. Jackson puts it on the floor and kisses it home off the window.
A little sampling of everything that he has offensively. Got the catch and shoot 3, a running left-handed hook, and that time a runner with the right hand off the glass.
A shot of his father, Jaren Jackson Sr., former teammate of Tim Legler in Washington. Davis in the paint, and Davis has 36.
Back when we were Bullets. This Pops and myself.
What year?
96, 97.
Juwan Howard, Chris Webber on that team as well.
Wallace.
Shot clock at 7. 80 attacks the rim and slams it down.
Well, sometimes they give Edey the ball too soon. He caught it exactly when he needed it at that time. A little bit deeper, simplifies it for him so he can finish.
Memphis has regained control of this game. Dallas cut it to 8. And P.J. Washington can't put it in the ocean. No basket. Washington 0 for 5. No points. It was a 17-point lead at halftime.
You guys have controlled the pace. What has worked so well to allow you to build and maintain this lead?
I think our defense, we're executing at a high level, we're getting stops, and we're able to run and, get to the basket.
And then what is the key defensively to finish this thing off then?
No let up. We have a little bit of a lead, so we want to just keep the foot on the gas.
Scotty, good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, back to you.
Well, they just gave up a basket and another and one to Brandon Williams. Dallas trying to creep back in the game. Potentially its final quarter of the season.
Tries to throw this lob to Lively, who very alertly taps it back because he was in no position to get a second hand and catch that. Just goes ahead and puts it right back to him like a toss back. And Brandon Williams, as scorers often are, Johnny on the spot.
Fourth foul on Jaren Jackson. Williams' free throw is good. Winner of this game advances out of the play-in into the playoffs and will face the team with the best record in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 on ABC Sunday afternoon. Jackson with a jab step, looking to drive on Davis, and Davis reaches in and strips it away. Davis has played 34 minutes now in the game. Marshall penetrates, gets deep, puts up an air ball. Desmond Bane. Neither Bane nor Morant scored in the third quarter, but Memphis extended its lead. And then Bane with some fancy dribbling and a teardrop.
Yeah, that looked like it was headed for a steal and a breakaway. Very creative on the part of Desmond Bane to go behind his back and then sees an open lane.
This has been one of the best games Memphis has played in a long time as Thompson drills a three. The last time Memphis beat a playoff team at home was January 30th. Now, I know Dallas not technically a playoff team under 500, but coming off a great win and playing better down the stretch. And the Grizzlies had lost 4 of 5 here at home, but they've been great here tonight. Pippen another 3. He's got 3 triples.
And I just really am amazed at the improvement that Scottie Pippen Jr. has made with his deep shooting.
Lively missed it. Good challenge by Edey. Pippen certainly one of the most improved players in the league this year. Batted away from behind by Brandon Williams.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that shot 30% the first couple months of the season, and he's now approaching 40% on the season, and has had a month here going down the stretch of the season where he shot over 50% from out there. Now, he's selective about it, but what a contribution, and earns him more minutes.
Let's check in with George for more.
Dave Leggs, I spoke to Scottie Pippen earlier this season about his opportunities here with the Grizzlies, and he talked about just that. Like, they've dealt last year, remember, with all those injuries. It gave him an opportunity to play through mistakes, and then he continued to work on his game this offseason, and they gave him the trust to play in these lineups and to play in these big moments because he went through the tough times last season.
Obviously the son of the legendary Scottie Pippen Sr. won all those championships with the Bulls, one of the greatest two-way players in league history. Thompson on the drive, gets the layup, good feed by Williams. But Pippen was undrafted a couple years ago, spent some time with the Lakers, played collegiately at Vanderbilt, and a big reason why the Grizzlies are in this spot here tonight. Conchar can't nail the 3. Davis with his 9th rebound. Dallas within striking distance, down 15. Davis, no. Rebound, Edey. Dallas 31% from behind the arc. Memphis 44% from 3. Pippen grabbed by Williams, and they're going to say on the floor. First Dallas team foul.
Yeah, Dallas right here, a great outlet pass. This is a perfect delivery by Brandon Williams. Klay Thompson just kept running the floor, and I think Williams surprised Jaren Jackson Jr. by being able to deliver that ball. He was expecting Williams to shoot it.
Ja Morant back on the floor after some good rest. Again, battling that ankle injury, showing no ill effects from it. But as George mentioned, the Choms reported a couple of shots to that ankle by the medical staff coming into tonight as Morant again rises up and scores his first points since the second quarter.
That's one of the few times Morant has gotten into the lane on balance where he could come to a jump stop, elevate, shoot that little floater that he loves.
He was considered a game time decision, but he took over the game in the first half. The lob, but the miss by Davis, a foul. And Davis back to the line. Beyond Aldama.
Yeah, we've seen Ja get in the lane in the third quarter and early fourth where he didn't come to that jump stop. 2 feet, plants, goes up on balance. He loves that little push shot because he's got such great elevation. He can shoot it even when there's bigs in the lane.
He had missed 8 straight field goal attempts before that make. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis, 36 points. 2 free throws here for the Mavs, trailing by 17. Still plenty of time for a comeback, but they need some stops. And those have not been easy tonight for Dallas. Memphis shooting better than 50% from the floor.
And I want to point out, I think the unsung hero tonight for the Grizzlies, Zach Edey, with 13 points, 11 boards, and he's so big in there. He has really limited Dallas's opportunities at second chance. And you need all of that when you're trying to make a comeback. So Edey, to me, has been a force in the lane and really capping off what's just been a great rookie year.
Did you see him being this impactful?
I did not. I had major doubts about his ability to change ends of the floor in this league with the speed and pace that the game is played at. But he has gotten himself leaner. He has worked on the performance team with the Grizzlies to improve his running as well.
Well, he's also been teed up. Gets called for a personal foul and now a technical, so a free throw for the Mavs. Team foul number 3 on the Grizzlies. Second personal on Edey. And now Thomas Izolo, the head coach, wants them to challenge the last personal foul. The technical would stand, but it's possible this personal foul would be overturned. Coach's challenge here by the Memphis staff. And some loving chants from the fans towards the officials here in Memphis. So you see Edey inside. Boy, he looked like he may have been shoved by P.J. Washington, and that would be 5 fouls on Washington if the play is reversed.
After replay review, there is a loose ball foul on Washington that occurs prior to any other contact. It's clear and conclusive that he pushes Edey in the back. Therefore, the challenge will be successful. Memphis will retain their second.
Listen to you and listen to the explanation from David Guthrie at the same time. It's a successful challenge. They call the foul there on the shove by P.J. Washington. Bringing Steve Javy, is Thompson still going to shoot the technical? We were wondering during the break, how much did the push have to do with the play? Because clearly Lively made contact after, but the officials say foul on Washington. Your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, Dave, I really believe it does have consequence on the play. And when a coach does challenge, the referees can review anything that's tied to the play. We can see that Washington puts his forearm into the back of Edey, which I believe causes Edey's contact with the other player. So I think they did the right thing here by, calling the foul on Washington.
And that is 5 personal fouls now on P.J. Washington as Thompson then misses the free throw.
Clearly a foul on P.J. Washington with the shove, which sort of forces Edey into the area with A.D. where he fouls him. The unfortunate part for Zach Edey, they win the challenge, but the technical stands. But Klay Thompson couldn't convert it.
Memphis has left the door open for Dallas a couple of times, but the Mavs haven't really walked through the door. They got it down to 8 at one point in the third quarter. Then Memphis went back up by 18. Morant gets some space from Washington, who can't pick up that 6th foul, but Morant misses. 6 of 19 shooting now for John Morant. Davis is hobbling up the floor again. Been battling multitude of ailments so far in this game, and he's looking at Jason Kidd like he needs to come out of the game. Davis had some time to set his feet, but you just see as he hobbles towards the bench that clearly was messing with him.
Yeah, he wanted no part of shooting that basketball. You could see he's been grabbing it throughout the night, but this time he was so far behind the play, and he actually looked over to the bench to signal he needed a sub, and then just found himself open regardless. But now it looks like he's grabbing the back of his right leg in the calf area.
We've seen him grab his left knee. He's been dealing with a groin injury throughout the game, low back, and now the right leg. Bane for 3. Desmond Bane's third three-pointer, and Memphis back in command.
Well, that may have been the exclamation point right there. You lose the one guy that's been doing it for you offensively for the Mavericks, and it's followed up by a three-pointer by Bane. and a turnover by the Mavericks thrown into the third row. Desmond Bane just comes off here, and Derek Lively can't be that far back. That's Zach Edey. You're not worried about the quick dive. So if you're Lively and that screen is being set for a shooter, you've got to be much closer to the proximity of the three-point line.
106-88, Memphis in front. Oklahoma City awaits the winner Sunday on ABC, 1 Eastern time. 4 playoff games tomorrow on ESPN and ABC. Bane scoop and score off glass. And the lead back to 20. And Bane commits a foul on the other end. 3rd team foul. Well, one thing Memphis has not done well, it's one of the reasons why they moved on from Taylor Jenkins. Not saying it's his fault, but one of the reasons they made the move. Memphis didn't handle adversity well a lot this year. They have tonight because Dallas made a move and Memphis responded.
Very true, but I think when they got out to the start that they did, they knew that they could withstand a run because they've been in such great rhythm the entire game as Christie knocks down a 3, just trying to keep Dallas with a little bit of hope here. It's going to come down to stops now, though. No more trading baskets if you're the Mavericks.
Christie with 11 points. He obviously was part of the Luka Doncic trade coming from the Lakers along with Anthony Davis. Morant drives. Aldama skip. Good hands by Williams to knock it free out of bounds. Thomas Isola coaching just his 11th game as the interim coach. 4-5 in the regular season. Lost the play-in. First year on the staff. There's Zach Kleiman, the GM. He was a head coach for 6 years. Euro Cup, the Paris team. He's from Finland. We talked with Jaren Jackson about him, and Jackson said he's handled himself very well given was kind of the turmoil at the end of the year here.
Yeah, and said that, look, there's not a lot of time when you inherit a team this close to the postseason to really insert too much that's different. He said they are probably running even a little bit more ball screen action than they were, and that was a big reason why they brought him in the first place, to inject that into their offense.
But Taylor Jenkins, even though he's let go, terrific coach. Got to imagine he's going to have opportunities to be a head coach again next year. Bane missed the shot and rebound Washington. But Washington still scoreless in the game. And he turns it over, but gets it right back. Williams. Aldama flies by. Williams missed the triple. Oh, Aldama, great save. Now Bane penetrating and fouled. 3rd team foul on the Mavs. Going to be a side out. 6.5 minutes from Dallas' season coming to an end unless the Mavs make a comeback. But their best player, Anthony Davis, still on the bench having that right leg worked on. Nico Harrison, the GM. Mavericks struggled down the stretch after the Doncic trade. A lot of that had to do with injuries. Gafford was out. Obviously Davis missed time. So did Exum and Lively. Jackson had it spin out. Edey knocked it out of bounds.
Just very difficult with Dallas, losing Kyrie Irving, and it's just been hard for them to find the offense that they need, particularly against a high-powered team like Memphis. So much is going to be made about the Luka Doncic trade for years to come, but not really able to evaluate what Dallas is going to look like post-trade because you haven't had Kyrie Irving and you missed Anthony Davis for a long stretch of time.
And a foul here on Memphis. It's going to go on Morant. His 3rd as Davis is about to check back in. And Shams Charania had the report the other night that it looks like Kyrie Irving could return in January. And you look at the roster, assuming Irving is back and everybody else stays, they still should be pretty good next year.
There's no doubt about it. They're still a very talented team, and they believe they've improved dramatically defensively, although they've struggled certainly tonight to contain this Memphis team. But the final judgment on that trade is going to come down the line.
Davis scores again. hobbling down court. He's got 40 points, almost half of Dallas's total. Back to a 15-point game. Plenty of time. Midway point of the fourth quarter.
And AD really limping, can barely look like he can put weight on that right leg, but he's going to try to gut it out right here while the Mavericks still have a shot.
What a pass by Morant. The lob to Edey for the stuff. 9th assist for Ja Morant. Edey's got 15 points, 11 rebounds. He had 14 points and 17 rebounds against the Warriors. Turnover, Conchar off the window. Jackson with the slam. Timeout, Jason Kidd.
Well, it's been a show tonight by the Memphis Grizzlies, and they're not quite done yet. Jaren Jackson getting in on the act. Memphis trying to earn a spot in the postseason.
The SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament is presented by SoFi, the official bank of the NBA.
By Google starts Saturday on ESPN. 3 games: Milwaukee, Indiana, Clippers, Denver, Knicks, Pistons, and then ABC Saturday night. The Lakers hosting the Wolves. First round on ESPN and ABC is presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Mike Miller in attendance tonight. Tayshaun Prince, part of the Memphis front office. And Jaren Jackson Sr. watching his son have a terrific second half. 24 points for Jaren Jackson Jr. 10 of 17 shooting. Anthony Davis on the bench again for the Mavs, as they're in trouble, trailing by 17 as Williams scores again inside, but time running out. 5 minutes to go. Need a run and need stops.
You need stops, and you're going to need some three-point shooting. I think you're going to see Memphis extend themselves defensively to make sure that doesn't happen.
Great play backside by Marshall to get the block, and then off Morant out of bounds. Williams has been a spark the last 2 months for the Mavericks. He's got 11 points tonight. Gets in the paint. Caleb Martin on the floor. Turn and fire Thompson. Way off. And rebound Pippen. Thompson, 18 points, but 4 of 11 from 3. On the switch, Marshall has Pippen. Got Caleb Martin defending Jaren Jackson. Shot clock at 4. Morant lets it fly. Aldama, long rebound. Gets into the paint. Now puts it on the floor. Spinning and scoring. Boy, he's been really good off the bench tonight.
He's had a very good year for them as well. He does a little bit of everything as a scorer. He can shoot it, put it down. Also a very good defensive rebounder.
Thompson can't bank it in with a left hand. Rebound Bagley. Gotta wonder if we've seen the last of Anthony Davis this season. 40 points, but wasted tonight because his team's down 19 with 3.5 to go. 6 Memphis players in double figures, led by Jackson's 24. Bain with 22. Morant gets deep and fouled by Williams. Tumbles to the ground, but he's all right. As you watch this replay with Morant going to the line, if Memphis advances and up 19 with 3.5 to go, can they give Oklahoma City problems in the first round? Game 1 is Sunday on ABC.
They've got the talent to. What they're going to run into is a team in the league that does the best job of defending pace. Oklahoma City Thunder just don't give up points in transition. They don't give up points in the paint. 2 areas that Memphis has to excel at, but there's no doubt they've got enough talent, certainly, on any given night against anybody. The Memphis Grizzlies have enough offensive talent, certainly, to be in a game or get a win. It just remains to be seen how they're going to fare against that Oklahoma City defense. A very rested defense.
Here's George.
Dave Leggs, the Thunder have won 9 straight versus the Grizzlies and have outscored Memphis this season by 75 points. in the games they've played. Memphis has not beaten the Thunder since December 7th, 2022, and the Thunder's last victory against the Memphis Grizzlies on March 27th was the day before they fired Taylor Jenkins, Dave.
And this was not just a great season for Oklahoma City, it was a historic season. 7th best record in NBA history and the greatest point differential in the history of the league. That's how good the Thunder were. Big reason is because of their defense, but also how balanced they are. And think about what they did this year without, for a good stretch of time, Chet Holmgren, Hartenstein was hurt. They were rarely whole this year and still were that dominant.
Yeah, that differential you point to is incredible, and that's in large part to their defense. And there's not a team in the league that has as many committed individual defenders as the Thunder.
Will they get Memphis? 2:54 till we find out, but a 19-point lead for the Grizz. By Memphis, John Morant called for his 4th foul, and this is being looked at right now. I believe the Grizzlies coaching staff feels that should be an offensive foul on Caleb Martin rather than a defensive foul on Morant.
Could very well be. That high swing through sometimes is, I think, viewed as almost going out of your way to create contact offensively.
6 players in double figures for Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. with 24. Anthony Davis with 40 for Dallas.
Review, Martin elevates his arms and makes contact with Morant in the face before any defensive foul. So it's clear and conclusive that there is an offensive foul first. The play will be overturned. The challenge is successful. Even though the challenge is successful, they will still be charged with timeout.
Okay. So barring a miracle, and we have seen some miracles in the NBA this year with comebacks, but assuming that the Mavs don't come back, they're home for the postseason. Not just that, but they have to watch Luka Doncic and the Lakers in the first round. And Mavs fans are already irate post-trade. Doncic clearly is on a mission, and going to be really interesting to watch what the Mavs do this offseason with their front office, with their coaching staff, with the roster. And a lot of that may depend on how Luka and the Lakers do.
Look, they made a decision to move on from arguably the most talented player to ever put a Mavericks jersey on, and certainly offensively, in Luka Doncic. And now, and gut punch to the fan base. And now, as you said, you've got to sit back with the Mavericks most likely now here, going to be home, and watch what kind of a run Luka and the Lakers can go on in the postseason.
Do you expect that to happen? Do you expect Luka and the Lakers to make a run?
There's no question they're good enough to be that team that's the last team standing against Oklahoma City in the Western Conference when it's all said and done. But I can make the case for a couple other teams out west as well. It is going to be a wild first round, a wild second round to see if we get to that point. But there's no doubt with the improvement with the Lakers defensively overall and that kind of offensive talent on the floor, they're capable of making a deep run.
It's interesting that, Morant's still on the floor here. Played a lot of minutes tonight, 33. His team's up big. Got that ankle injury that needed 2 injections here the next 2 days, and now a timeout. Maybe they'll get Morant out here. Maybe his night is over. As Memphis is going to win this game up 118-99.
Played the stars for Memphis at the beginning of this game, and they came out on fire early. John Morant got this place on their feet with his first half. You've seen the versatility of Jaren Jackson Jr. and then Desmond Dane with some flash, chipping it as well with 22 points.
30 assists, 60 paint points, and great balance offensively for Memphis tonight. They have emptied the bench. The Grizzlies will move on to face Oklahoma City on Sunday. Game 1 on ABC, 1 Eastern time. The Grizzlies missed the playoffs last year. They had been in the postseason 3 straight years. They missed it last year because of the suspension to Morant, some other injuries, and they're down 2 key guys in Jalen Wells and Brandon Clark. They're both out for the year. But this is a Memphis team that before the All-Star break was the 2 seed. They fell to the 8th spot, but still not that much separation between 2 and 8 in the West. Will be really interesting postseason series.
And one of the reasons you saw Golden State and Memphis laying it on the line the way they did on Tuesday night was because of the numbers we put out there of the struggles this team has had against Oklahoma City. And Houston is not going to certainly be an easy team to get by either with that defense that they have. But when you've had that lack of success against an opponent, you wanted to do everything you could to avoid them. They weren't able to get the win in Golden State, but they answered the bell tonight, and they're going to give themselves a chance to participate now in the playoffs.
The Mavericks season comes to an end. Trying to become the second 10 seed ever to make it out of the play-in tournament. The first happened earlier tonight. Miami advancing, knocking off Atlanta tonight to grab the 8th seed, and now we'll play Cleveland.
And one of the things about Memphis, you know, you'd like to see him go up against that Oklahoma City team at full strength with Jalen Wells. What a difference, you know, he can make defensively having to guard a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Unfortunately, he will not be with them for the postseason.
And again, Clark as well, another key player. Gafford with the slam. Game 1 Sunday in Oklahoma City. The playoff field is set. The Memphis Grizzlies, the last team to punch a ticket. They knock off the Dallas Mavericks tonight in the final play-in game, and will be the 8th seed in the West. The Dallas Mavericks season comes to an end. A disappointing finish to a disappointing year in Big D. What the future holds for a lot of people there will be really interesting to watch over the next few months before the 2026 season begins. And can Kyrie Irving get back in time? All reports are that there's a likelihood of him returning in January, which would be huge. Suffered that ACL injury March 3rd. They really never got a chance post-trade to have the roster that they intended together on the court for a significant amount of time.
Well, you saw AD for a half in his first game put up monster numbers, left that game with an injury, missed a large period of time. Most people were surprised he even made it back at the end of the year after Kyrie went down, but he did, and he fought with this group, and he certainly showed up tonight for the Mavericks.
They opened the game, Memphis did, on a 7-0 run, and the Grizzlies never gave up the lead. And a foul here on Williams, so free throws coming here for Gigi Jackson. He was a talented young player, but missed a lot of time due to injury. Really shined in Summer League in Vegas last year. Has a bright future.
And in that lost season a year ago, you know, only played 46 games, but averaged almost 15 points a game. He is a very talented offensive player, but injuries have really made it difficult for him here early in his career to get consistent playing time.
Here's Williams bringing it up the court. He'll take a three-pointer. It's good. So the final score, 120-106. The play-in is over. The playoffs start tomorrow, and the Memphis Grizzlies will be part of it. They'll face the Oklahoma City Thunder as an 8 seed. There have been 8 times in NBA history that an 8 seed has knocked off a 1 seed. The Grizzlies did it back in 2011 when they beat the San Antonio Spurs. Can they do it again against the dominant Oklahoma City Thunder? With the West bracket set, Denver Clippers, Lakers, Wolves, Houston, Golden State, Oklahoma City, Memphis make up the first round matchups in the West. So long from Memphis. For Tim Legler, George Sedano, I'm Dave Pasch. Sports Center coming up with Scott Van Pelt after a Memphis victory, 120-106 over the Mavs, ending Dallas' season and sending the Grizz to the playoffs.
Еще трава полна прозрачных слез, и гром вдали гремит раскатом. Гроза прошла, и ветка белых роз в окно не дышит ароматом. Еще трава полна прозрачных слез, и гром вдали.
Дикий ветер стекла гнет, ставни с петель буйно вьет. Часа утренний пасхальный звон, далекий звон печальный. Глухота чернота, только ветер гость нахальный потрясает ворота. За окном черно и пусто, ночь полна шагов и хруста. Там река ломает лед, там меня невеста ждет.
Oh, heaven knows, men know that I love you so much, Jamila. Ooh, yes I do. You left my world and left me so cold. Now I'm wondering how I'm gonna get you back. Hey, nothing about to make it right. Jamila kiyape mun. Na dawo gida ban ga Jamila ba. Na dawo gida ban ji muryanta ba. Hey, wayo, a neman mun Jamila. Jamila, don Allah gida gida, babu abin da zai raba mu har abada. Jamila, zuciya na ɓaciwa. Gida gida, gida gida, gida gida. Ooh, no matter what people do or say, this love will never die. If I knew I never hurt you so bad, drinking so much, too much women.